Now, you're a big also credit card guy. We were talking about real estate and how you need a good credit score in order to go out and start investing in real estate. What can somebody do right now to get a perfect score, whether it be to get some rental properties or whatever it might be? What is the best way for someone to do that right now?
So I would say you got to get a secured credit card first if you don't have any other history.
What is that?
It's just put down a deposit and they give you a credit line that's equal to that. So let's say you put down a $300 deposit, they'll give you back a $300 credit line.
Oh.
Easy as that, very easy. And then all you do is put like a minor expense on the card, anything that you would ordinarily spend anyway. Maybe Chipotle, maybe gas.
Get some extra guac.
Get the extra guac if you could afford it.
If you can, yeah,
if
true.
you could afford it.
If you can afford
expensive.
it. That's the key.
Yeah, but just anything like that, and just pay it off in full. Even for the people who just like really like using debit cards, that's fine. Just get in the habit of putting one expense on the card a month and just pay it off. Just something, $5, doesn't matter. Do that for 6 months, sometimes 8 months. And you can also do that twice. You can get a Discover It secured card, or I think there's like a Capital One secured card that's really good. Just as long as there's no annual fee on it. Get them both at the same time. It doesn't matter. Do the same thing with both for 8 months. Probably build up a good enough credit score to get a Bank of America cash rewards card. This is one of the easiest ones to get. Do the same thing on that. There's a whole bunch of no annual fee credit cards that you could get. Small things on it. Get like, I think in the beginning I went crazy. I got like 5 credit cards, basically like back to back to back, that were no annual fee, just so I could get as much credit history as possible. After about a year, you should be good enough, maybe sometimes a year and a half, where you should have a good enough credit score to pass most banks.
Interesting. So now you start building up your get these credit cards. Is that all you got to do then? Or just like, what if I have previous credit card debt? Is that important to pay that off first? Or
generally, it's always a good idea just because the interest rate's so high on that. Now, some people would say, well, I got a $10,000 balance, but it's 0% interest rate for 18 months. And then I think, well, as long as you're sure you could pay it off after the 18 months, as long as you don't get 18 months and then like, oh, now I got to pay it off because the interest rate goes to 20%.
Yeah.
As long as you could pay it off in full before you pay any interest. I don't think you should ever pay interest on a credit card. It's the worst thing you could do. But the best thing to do, honestly, is talk to a lender. And I got some of the best advice from lenders, like bank lenders. And what I've done is I've given them all my financials, and they'll go through it, and they'll say, okay, you got to get your credit score up to a 760 to get our best rate. You need to, your car lease is too expensive. Because you spend $300 a month in this lease, we're able to qualify you for less. If you get rid of the lease and you buy a car in cash instead, we'll be able to give you $300 a month more. That's an extra $40,000 you can get on your loan. If you do this, if you show a little bit more income here, we could give you more loan. It's like they'll go through everything for you and literally tell you what you need to do to qualify for the loan that you want to get.
Interesting.
That's what I always did.
So what credit cards now do you have in your wallet, and how many?
Well, I probably have 12.
Wow.
And of those, I really only use like 2 of them. The other ones, I just do the minimum to keep active. I've had, I think 2. I used to have more credit cards, but I just forgot to use them. And then during the pandemic, they shut them down. They sent notices, and I didn't see the notices, but they shut them down because they were inactive, and I think they were trying to de-risk. So I had a few shut down accidentally, but I only use 2 of them now. One is a Carrot credit card, which is a credit card that when we're talking about investing in startups that I invested in, I really like them a lot. They offer they're a credit card for like influencers, but they're just offering such a high reward. It's like, it just makes sense to do it. It's like up to 5% cash back. It's bad, but it's good and bad. It's good for me. It's bad for them. But they offer 3 to 5% cash back in select categories all the time. So on electronics too, I think it's like I get 4% cash back, which is like insane for electronics. But then they have these days where it's like 5% cash back days, and I have a very big limit on the card. So when I get those 5% days, I prepay everything on the 5%. It's like, you know what? They offer it. I'm a good test. If they could survive me doing this, they'll be prepared. They know what to expect. So anyway, I load up on this 5% days. The other cards that I use, the Amex, is the Amex Platinum. Amex Platinum is good for some travel rewards.
Yeah.
I used to use the Chase Sapphire Reserve a lot. They had a great travel credit, but then the JP Morgan Reserve is basically the same thing. So I just use that now.
Okay.
But really, I would say Carrot credit card is probably 90% of my expenses. It's a business card.
Oh, okay. So you got the travel card, you got the business card. Do you use any for cash back, or are you mainly looking for travel points?
That's the Carrot credit
The
card.
Carrot. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But that's for your business expenses, though. You said.
Yeah.
Do you have like a personal one that you use just for your like?
Just the JP Morgan card.
Just the JP Morgan
Yeah.
one. Very cool. So then, now we talked about credit scores. We talked about real estate. We talked about YouTube. What about crypto? So I think crypto has been on the minds of a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you said that you're investing in crypto. Tell me about that. What are your thoughts on crypto?
Yeah, I was really against it for a while. You look back at my early videos, and I was neutral on mainly Bitcoin. I was very neutral on it. I just didn't get it. I was like, I remember when it hit $1,000. That's when I made my first. I think I made the first video. My first ever crypto video was when Bitcoin hit $1,000.
Did you buy it then?
No. And well, I approached it very objectively. I'm like, this is what it is. Here's where it could be going. And I mentioned something about it like being a digital gold or being a replacement for a currency, which turned out to be pretty wrong right now. But yeah, no, I just covered it neutrally. I'm like, how do you invest back then? But it's very risky. And I covered like, it's gone down like 95% before, expected to do it again. And then it hit 10K and I was like, wow, this is nuts, 10K. And then it hit 17 and everyone, this is 2017, everyone was getting into crypto. So I figured, okay, I'm going to invest and just see what it's like. And for me, it was like, I wanted to get the experience of investing in it. If everyone's talking about it, I should at least try it out. I shouldn't be like sitting on the sidelines watching this. So I invested in it and I thought it was a lot of fun. Like I could see why people were obsessed with it. And I would say half the fun was being able to trade it just basically 24/7. The fact that you could go like after hours at 10 p.m. and still trading, it's addicting. It was fun. But it was also the community, I would say, was probably like half of it. Just the fact that there's so many people out there all excited about talking, cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And it was that community aspect that made you feel like you're a part of something special. So I dabbled and...
How much did you put in when you first started buying at 17?
Oh, at first like 20K.
Okay.
And that was just meant to experiment with this and try it out, have fun with it. So I bought Bitcoin at first and I bought it at like 17. I think I sold it like 17.5. So I was wow, I made a profit. And then I decided to go into altcoins, which...
And this is still 2017, right before the burst.
Yeah. So I dabbled in altcoins and I wound up with... back then it was called Ryblocks. And I bought Ryblocks. And I bought a few of them. I don't remember. I don't remember what I bought. But Ryblocks was like the biggest one. I bought Ryblocks when it was like $1.85. And then I bought more at like $2.35. Uh-huh. And this was meant to be like the best currency ever. And now the funny thing is that like there are all these cryptos out there. Back then, a lot of them were bad. I don't want to say they were scams, but they were. We didn't have the meme aspect that we do today, but you had coins that were just promised the world and did nothing. Ryblocks was one of the few ones where like I really felt confident about their development team, what they stood for, what they wanted to do. They wanted to be like the easiest, fastest transactional currency that you could use.
Yeah.
And so I bought Ryblocks, and they just shot up, and it went to like $20.
Holy moly!
Yeah. And
how much did you put in then?
Gosh, I don't know, like I think $5,000 or $6,000 of that was in Ryblocks. Yeah. And then they were supposed to be listed on Binance. And I saw every single coin that got listed on Binance saw an immediate like 15-20% jump the second it got listed. Mm-hmm. And so I looked through every other coin that got listed. I'm like, okay, so this is what's happened all the other times. And Ryblocks is supposed to be listed. So what I'm going to do is when it gets listed, I'm going to sell it right after it gets listed, because then I'll be able to get an extra profit and everything else goes down within a week later. So I thought like I had this time perfectly. It rallied up to $40.
Wow.
And it hadn't been listed on Binance yet.
Wow.
And so I said to myself, all right, this is a lot of money. At 44, I'm going to sell it because everyone wants it to hit 50. So I'm going to sell early at 44. Well, guess what happens? It's like the next day, they announced that they had a problem listing on Binance. Like something had happened. And they were like, it's delayed. The price dropped. And I'm like, well, it just got delayed. It's still going to be listed on Binance. But the momentum was done. And shortly after that, then BitConnect, just the whole thing imploded, which is that was like a Ponzi scheme. And it was a big scam in the industry. We could all tell it was a scam, but people wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that imploded. Bitcoin dropped, and Roblox pretty much immediately dropped like 80%.
Oh my God.
And at the time then, I couldn't even sell it. They disabled withdrawals on whatever platform I was using. I forget. It was too long ago. But anyway, they disabled withdrawals on that. So I couldn't even take my money out. Something happened. Wow. And
now you're stuck.
I was stuck. So, and I just held it. At that point, at one point, Roblox was trading at like $1. So I like lost money on this thing, which is like hard to lose money on it.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at Roblox. It's like $6, 5 or 6.
So you held on.
I held on. It's rebranded now as what's called Nano, and I'm just holding.
Wow.
And yeah, I still have it, but
that takes a lot to hold on, man. You saw a rally hundreds of percents. I mean, 10x, 20x.
I got really greedy because everyone was making so much money. And the difference between 40 and 44, I mean, let's be real. It's like, it's so stupid. But you know what? It was a great lesson for me to learn that I'm glad I learned it. And there's it's my own fault. I got greedy. That was a great example. I think everyone gets to a point, especially really any investment, where that happens.
Especially crypto.
Especially crypto.
Crypto.
Everyone, it happens. But guess what? You learn a good lesson from it, and I'm holding. It's just like I'm just gonna see what happens. That's it. I have no intention of selling it.
If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide that goes over what passive income is, how to start generating passive income, and different passive income strategies. These are things that you can start doing even if you don't have a lot of money. So if you want to read this free guide on how to start generating passive income for free, all you got to do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.